We'll be starting shortly, ladies and gentlemen, and upon the announcement of the arrival of our guest of honor, please kindly rise. We'd like to invite all guests outside to please take your places inside the main hall. Thank you. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, announcing the arrival of Yang Amat Berhormat, Datuk Sri Anwar bin Ibrahim, Prime Minister of Malaysia, accompanied by our other distinguished guests. Thank you, distinguished guests. Ladies and gentlemen, do kindly be seated. Introducing our opening performance, Tari Sula Madani.
Berentak gerak penuh
Tari Sulam Madani by the Will Arts Groups, a fusion of cultures of beautiful Malaysia. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A very good morning. Salam Malaysia Madani and a warm welcome. Yang Amat Berhormat, Datuk Sri Anwar bin Ibrahim, Prime Minister of Malaysia. Yang Berhormat, Datuk Aaron Ago Dagang, Minister of National Unity Malaysia. Yang Berbahagia Tan Sri Syamsul Azri bin Abu Bakar, Chief Secretary to the Government of Malaysia. Yang Berhormat Senator Puan Saraswati Kandasamy, Deputy Minister of National Unity Malaysia. Your Excellencies, High Commissioners of ASEAN in attendance. Yang Berbahagia Datuk Haji Ruji bin Haji Ubi, Secretary General to the Ministry of National Unity Malaysia. Delegations of the ASEAN Librarians, distinguished guests, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, we bid you a warm welcome and thank you for joining us for the official opening ceremony of the 19th Congress of Southeast Asian Librarians General Conference and Meeting. Welcome to CONSAL 2025. We're thrilled to gather here at this landmark event that celebrates not just the evolving role of libraries in our digital era, but also the enduring spirit of regional collaboration. We also celebrate cultural heritage, knowledge sharing that defines CONSAL's mission. As we embark on this exciting journey over the next 2 days, ladies and gentlemen, let's take this opportunity to explore bold ideas, forge stronger connections, and shape the future of libraries as inclusive, innovative, and resilient institutions. Whether you're joining us as a seasoned professional or a passionate newcomer, this conference promises meaningful dialogue, inspiring keynotes, and impactful initiatives that will resonate well beyond these halls. Let the spirit of CONSAL 2025 begin. Without further ado, to deliver the welcome remarks, please allow me to invite to the stage Yang Berhormat Datuk Aaron Ago Dagang, Minister of National Unity.
Good morning, salam sejahtera, salam berpaduan. Yang Amat Berhormat Datuk Sri Anwar bin Ibrahim, Prime Minister of Malaysia. Yang berbahagia Tan Sri Syamsul Azri bin Abu Bakar, the Chief Secretary to the Government of Malaysia. Yang Berhormat Senator Puan Saraswati Kandasamy, Deputy Minister of National Unity. Excellencies and High Commissioners of the ASEAN countries, Yang Bahagia Datuk Haji Ruji bin Haji Ubi, Secretary General to the Ministry of National Unity, Yang Besar Encik Eddie Irwan bin Sukapli, General Director of National Library of Malaysia, Yang Besar Datuk Ghazali bin Muhammad Fazil, President of Librarians Association of Malaysia, delegations of the ASEAN Librarians, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning once again, and it's my great pleasure and privilege to welcome all of you to Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, for the 19th Congress of Southeast Asian Librarian, or CONSAL XIX. And also I wish to extend my gratitude and heartfelt appreciations to the National Library of Malaysia and the Librarians Association of Malaysia for their efforts and outstanding commitments in organizing this prestigious Congress. This year, CONSAL 19 gathers an impressive 1,200 participants from across the region, with 89 papers to be presented by speakers and professionals. And it is especially meaningful that we come together under the powerful and timely theme, inclusive knowledge, bridging divides, and empowering all. These themes reflects the urgent need for equitable access to information and the collective aspirations to build more connected and informed societies across Southeast Asia. As we move through an era marked by rapid technological evolution and profound social culture change, with increasing demands for sustainable, inclusive development, the role of libraries and information institutions has grown even more vital. Today, libraries are more than just places for books. They are beacons of equity, the gateways to digital access, the custodians of all our cultural heritage, and as well as a lifelong learning center for all. Malaysia has been remarkable in progress in its library ecosystem, reflecting our national commitment to inclusive access to knowledge. A key initiative is the U-Pustaka, our innovative national digital library platform, which is accessible anytime, anywhere to all Malaysians under the upustaka.gov.my. This service offered at no cost. It allows users to borrow both physical books across 12 consortium libraries and digital materials, including ebooks, audiobooks, magazines, journals, newspapers, database, and of course, government publications. And moreover, Malaysia has 506 village library programs which continue to flourish and bringing curated collection, community reading events, digital kiosks to remote and rural communities. These village libraries serve as better hubs, empowering local residents with both traditional resources as well as digital connectivity. Ladies and gentlemen, in building knowledge-based society, we must of course ensure that no one is excluded, whether because of geography or because of economic status, age, gender, and as well as ability and language. The true inclusivity means that the benefits of knowledge, education, and information must reach every corner of our society, including the marginalized and undeserved. Inclusive knowledge begins with the commitment to bring information resources to those who are often left behind. In many rural, remote areas across Southeast Asia, physical libraries remains limited. To address this, we must prioritize the development of community libraries and expand outreach efforts such as mobile libraries, digital kiosks, and alternative service models. At the same time, we must recognize that language plays a crucial role in inclusivity. In our multilingual and multicultural region, large segment of the population speaks local and indigenous languages that are often underrepresented in formal knowledge system. Therefore, libraries must actively promote linguistic inclusion by offering materials in minority languages and by supporting initiatives that document, translate, as well as preserve the indigenous literature and oral tradition. In our pursuits of inclusivity, we must also ensure that persons with disabilities have full and meaningful access to library services. Accessibility should not be treated as an afterthought, but as an integral part of library design, both physically and digitally. And this includes providing infrastructure such as ramp, accessible toilets, resources in format like Braille, large prints, audiobooks, and many more. Equally important is ensuring that library staff are trained to serve persons with disability in a dignified, informed, and proactive manner. Ladies and gentlemen, in today's digital era, access to internet and digital literacy have become essential components of inclusive knowledge. However, the digital divide remains a real and pressing issue across Southeast Asia. In response, libraries must play a more vital role in offering free or affordable internet access, digital tools, and training programs. In our collective effort to advance inclusivity and equitable access to knowledge, one of the most promising, forward-looking regional initiative is the ASEAN Digital Library, or the ADL. This platform simplifies what we can achieve when our countries come together with a shared commitment to preserving, sharing, and democratizing knowledge. The ASEAN Digital Library is a collective digital platform that aggregates metadata from national libraries of ASEAN member states. While the system is still expanding, it is already enables seamless cross-border access to tens of thousands of digitized material, including rare manuscript books, artifacts, images, newspaper, and more. And to move forward, we must also consider investing in shared digital infrastructure, capacity building for librarian activities, as well as portable metadata standard that will enable smooth integrations of national collection. Furthermore, we must be bold in supporting digitizations of indigenous knowledge systems and local languages, ensuring that what we preserve digitally today reflects the full spectrum of ASEAN-rich heritage. The ASEAN Digital Library has the potential to be more than just a digital archive. It can be a living bridge of knowledge, connecting our people, our histories, and our futures. It is a step toward a more inclusive, informative, and integrated ASEAN communities. Ladies and gentlemen, to make this inclusive effort effective and sustainable, greater regional cooperation is essential, and we believe that CONSAL and ASEAN member states can work together to establish a framework that promotes shared standards, tools, and funding for inclusive library services. Ultimately, inclusivity is not just about access, it is about empowerment. When we invest in inclusive knowledge system, we invest in human dignity, in equal opportunity, and in a sustainable development. We give every person, regardless of their circumstances, the chance to learn, to grow, and to contribute meaningfully to our society. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Yang Berhormat Datuk Aaron Agodagang, Minister of National Unity Malaysia. And now, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is my great privilege to invite to the stage Yang Amat Berhormat Datuk Seri Anwar bin Ibrahim, Prime Minister of Malaysia, to deliver the officiating speech.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan salam sejahtera Saudara Menteri Perpaduan Aaron Agodagang, Tan Sri Ketua Susun Negara Samsul Azri Al-Haj dan Timbalan Menteri Saraswati, Saudara KSU Suruhaji yang kebetulan akan menyempurnakan tugas terakhir hari ini sebagai pegawai kerajaan, dan saya percaya orang yang muda masih lagi ada tugas-tugas besar di lain. Jadi saya ucap terima kasih bagi pihak kerajaan atas sumbangan. Dan rakan-rakan saya muliakan, sidang ini walaupun tidak mungkin dilihat sebagai suatu tunggak dalam pembangunan negara atau ekonomi, itu tidak sebenarnya mewakili pandangan yang tepat. Kalau kita bicara soal negara madani, pertumbuhan negara, memperkasa ekonomi dan negara, ia mesti berasas kepada tunggak ilmu. Tunggak ilmu itu selain dari sekolah, universiti, ialah perpustakaan. Dalam sejarah tamadun yang besar, itu dikaitkan dengan gedung ilmu yang besar. Sama ada di Alexandria, atau Baitul Hikmah di Baghdad, atau kemudiannya di Barat. Tokoh-tokoh besar dunia, pemikir, filosof, pujangga, semuanya berpengkalan di perpustakaan. Jadi justru itu perhimpunan ini tentunya punya tugas yang besar, terutama peringatan kepada pustakawan bahawa ada suatu peranan utama bukan sekadar menghimpunkan gedung buku dan memperindahkan dengan almari kaca, tetapi untuk menjadikannya sebagai suatu medan dan wahana yang penting bagi memupuk kesedaran, menggalakkan minat membaca. Now, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, clearly this Congress brings together some of the region's most vital custodian of knowledge, culture and community. This lay the foundation for something often spoken but rarely defined, a true Southeast Asian community, the love for scholarship and learning. I made reference to earlier about great civilizations known, of course, for their economic strength, technological prowess, military power, but underlying these factors is, of course, knowledge. The capacity to not only combine these forces together into this great library, but to be able to disseminate the information effectively. Now, to my mind, this is a major task of librarians in this region. Those who are familiar with novels, I remember or recall in a novel, The Name of the Rose, by this Italian novelist. I can't recall the name. There's a problem without having a text. But The Name of the Rose, and the second novel was Foucault's Pendulum. Now, in The Name of the Rose, this was the labyrinth of a huge building, the library, the search for great work, the book, to show the strength of knowledge and great contributions to mankind through books. Now, having said that, and the great libraries of the past, from Alexandria to Bait al-Hikmah to the West now, what is our challenge? The challenge is to get this reading culture back. Now, we have lost it. I made reference a week earlier, I think, to this book written by Alan Bloom, The Closing of the American Mind, I think in the early 80s, where Alan Bloom made this reference to the a decline of the culture, tradition, and capacity, interest to read. In social media, they read 2 sentences and they come to a conclusion. Influencers will continue to say in a few words and come to a judgment. Now, the culture of creativity, of trying to fathom the truth, to understand, to appreciate through that reading culture is somewhat lost. And this was written somewhere in the 80s. And I believe this something has gotten worse. Now, astrophysicist Carl Sagan, for example, once said, when he was reflecting the wonder of books. Now, this, you see, the disconnect between what Carl Sagan said and the reality. What an astonishing thing a book is. Astonishing. The book, when you have that love for scholarship, you see a book, is astonishing. One glance at it You are inside the mind of another person. Maybe somebody dead thousands of years ago. Writing, therefore, binds together people of different ages, cultures, citizens of distant epochs. A book, therefore, is a proof that humans are capable of working magic. Not the exact words, I'm paraphrasing. Second. When you read, for example, Greek philosophy, you're reading work of thousands of years. You read the Roman Marcus Aurelius, Meditations, or then Shakespeare, or Sejarah Melayu, or Babat Tanah Jawi. You are talking about the wisdom of the past. Then you are confronted with artificial intelligence. But the challenge for librarians is therefore, how can you help to become an effective purveyor of that magic? To be able to translate, to guard the books, of course, in the library, to guide it to those who come to the library, and open its horizon so that those who come actually love it. I was fortunate when I was at the University of Malaya, there was this great librarian, Beda Lim, who had this passion and almost an obsession of wanting to make this library a great library and get students to read. Then when I was already in government as a minister, I used to introduce books in most of my speeches. Then there's this very outstanding librarian, Rustam, Rohani Rustam, at Dewan Bahasa dan Pustaka. The library is not huge, but this librarian had that interest. The moment she reads about what I've said, say for example, I mentioned Alan Bloom just now, or some new works, either literature or technology or economics. The next day, those days they have fax. She will fax the reviews in international journals so that I can assess and evaluate and reflect on what I have read and what are the critical views. But these are rare. I mean, people with that passion. I'm not suggesting that all librarians in Malaysia should start sending me reviews and I have nothing to do and just start reading reviews. But what I'm saying is, there are librarians with that passion. And I've seen librarians when I make sure that in my house, the library is the most important place. I've collected books for the last 40, 50 years, some rare books, some great works, and you can see the librarians sometimes are difficult. They are very pricky. No, you shouldn't be like that. The system is like that. You have to tolerate them because that's their passion. I understand you guys very well. Tak boleh sini, tak boleh, no, ni, no, macam you tak habis-habis. But it is a passion. Now, our challenge, therefore, is how do you get? You have students. This is our National Library. Students coming in. Sometimes we distribute books for free. And recently, last year I announced that every student in this country was given 100 ringgit just to buy books. This year I said all teachers will be given 100 ringgit to buy books and university students. Now, okay, they buy. Beautify the house with libraries. PMX kata harus ada buku, dia ada buku. Itu buku bukan untuk pameran. When I was Minister of Education a long time ago, I usually go for surprise checks. Say I have a program at Alostar or at the University Utara, so I will stop by in some of the schools on the way to Jitra and go check for the first leaves of the lavatory, then library, because it sounds about the same, lavatory, library. Now, there was one school in Kedah where I went to the library, very clean, very proper, everything sealed, plastic. So I said to the teacher, hey, come on, why do you keep them? You have to keep clean, sir. I said, no, the book is not supposed to be dirty, but it's supposed to be read. So I had to come back and told the DG of Education, look, give instructions. The books should not be covered in plastics. You should open the plastic and make sure people read. And we should know, for example, because from the record, whether it's being read or not. Now, it is digression, Aaron, you don't mind. I've been a teacher all my life. So I think even a prime minister, I behave like a teacher. And some are getting bored, so please bear with me. No, librarians, therefore, when you will give a book, there was a book festival recently, and I said, it's not necessary just to give a book. You should see open page 43. Please read that para. And make it so exciting that they will continue to read page 44. And that's the challenge. Because without that, the consequences are profound. For journalism, for students, for public knowledge, for democracy itself. Look at that rancorous debate, contentious at times, full of mischief and hatred, with hardly any understanding. Just playing to the gallery. And this is, of course, not wise. Partly populism, but you breed and encourage ignorance. So that is why libraries and librarians have this big challenge. I listened to Aaron about democratizing access through digital, mobile libraries, what have you. Yes, these are infrastructure. And of course, libraries have to adapt with a steady resolve. Digital, AI, okay. But our duty is, of course, to encourage. How do we then get people, and students particularly, the young, to have the interest to read? Of course, we were all young before. I was young a long time ago. But, and we love music, we love popular culture, fine, or cinemas. We know all the name of actors and actresses, and we can sing English, Chinese, Hindi songs, Bollywood movies, Hollywood. Okay, fair. But then, inculcating that habit, that interest, to me, is a collective exercise. Because without that, there's no space to test ideas, no opportunity to compare experiences, to strengthen one another in order to navigate the shifting sands of our time. Imagine ASEAN, this great regional initiative. We have had, alhamdulillah, a very successful meeting because of ASEAN leaders' very pragmatic attitude to work together, to bring up our economy together. and to talk about collaboration in terms of energy transition, digitalization, and of course, the culture and the arts. Can you imagine, for example, getting the great heritage of Angkor Wat to Borobudur, to the Malacca Sultanate, as an example, and getting students to be alert that here we are with this enormous past, great civilizations. And so that our students feel and have greater confidence and not become subject of captive mind to imagine only with or being charmed by Western civilization and ideas. Through libraries, through reading. You see? Those who are familiar with Uppsala University, for example, they still hold books seized during the 17th century wars. Jesuit texts taken from Catholic libraries and returned as trophies of conquest. I give another example recently about during the Baghdad civilization, and the emperor, the caliph, invited someone from Central Asia, Uzbekistan or Kazakhstan, the stans, the area, Central Asia, and invited this alim to become wazir, the minister or prime minister. He didn't ask for new cars or new office or new wife. You see, like Aaron would have asked that. But he said, no, I need a few camels to bring my books, okay, to Baghdad. You can see the priority. That man with that tradition of knowledge and culture. Okay. No. And books also are very political. There are books banned. There are books considered to be subversive. But decisions can be only made not through opportunistic desires, but through knowledge and understanding. So the good news is, and for librarians, even in ASEAN, with all the past turbulence we have endured and experienced, libraries have endured, and so librarians. But you have a major task, not only to disseminate that experience, that knowledge found in books, but to get libraries to be a vibrant center. I've told our librarians here, even those days, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I inaugurated this conference in 1996. You can guess my age. At that time, I think I was 10 years old. 1996. And I think consistently I mentioned that there are big tasks to make sure that students love to go to the library. Not because it is air-conditioned. Okay, fine, they want some comfort. I used to do that when I was at the University of Malaya. They said, why did you go? It'd be hot outside. Fair. But then once you get there, you must get librarians to charm them, the students. No, just introduce books and encourage them to read, and not only have a discussion in the library. I don't normally tolerate when students choose libraries, particularly in the main library where people have to keep quiet and read, to have discussions. So now we have, for example, programs where we have study rooms where you can have a discussion within the library compound. So we have a great history. Paper scrolls, microfilms, now digital, and I thank you very much for this initiative to have a digital library for ASEAN, and as long as you don't ask money from the Minister of Finance. So, I must again take this opportunity to thank and express my appreciation to the organizers and to the participants. And please be reminded that this is an important conference. Libraries are not built as monuments for pride. It is where knowledge was to be retrieved and consumed. You know, the environment is near monastic silence. Can you imagine? But the model now has to adapt with the new circumstances. This is what the people, particularly the young and the students, need. Have library to read in near monastic silence. At the same time, they want spaces open, alive, connected, related to the culture and the arts. Places not only for books, podcasts, films, databases, e-books, and a variety of media that reflects how people learn and explore today. So thank you very much for this opportunity and listening to my morning lecture. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Yang Berhormat Datuk Sri. Please kindly remain on stage, sir, as I invite the Minister of National Unity, the Chief Secretary to the Government of Malaysia, Deputy Minister of National Unity, and the Secretary General to the Ministry of National Unity to kindly join Yang Berhormat Datuk Sri Anwar bin Ibrahim on stage for the official launch of CONSAL 2025. We'd like to invite Yang Berhormat Datuk Sri to kindly sound the gong 3 times to initiate the official launch of the 19th CONSAL. In 3, 2, 1.
Knowledge carried by wings, safeguarded by hands, preserved through time. Every word, a whisper from the past, waiting to shape the future. This is the next chapter in our journey, 19 CONSAL. Since the dawn of civilization, knowledge has been the lifeblood of human progress. From manuscripts to digital archives accessible at our fingertips, libraries have stood as the eternal guardians of wisdom, preserving the past and illuminating the future. They are spaces where young children discover the magic of books, where students prepare for their future, and where lifelong learners continue their journey of exploration. Across generations and continents, the pursuit of knowledge has united us, bridging cultures, shaping societies, and inspiring the minds of tomorrow. In every corner of ASEAN, libraries are more than just buildings filled with books. They are the heart of our communities, hubs of knowledge, culture, and connecting people across borders. From the vibrant streets of Indonesia to the serene libraries of Lao PDR, from the digital archives of Singapore to the historic collections of Vietnam and Malaysia, our libraries empower minds and enrich lives. No longer confined by walls, knowledge now flows seamlessly across digital landscapes. It is a place where a child in a remote village gains access to the same knowledge as a scholar in a bustling metropolis. Innovation ensures that knowledge remains inclusive, empowering all, regardless of background, geography, or circumstance. Welcome to Kuala Lumpur, a city where tradition meets innovation. Here at 19 CONSAL, we will shape the future of libraries together. Welcome to 19 CONSAL.
Thank you, Yang Amat Berhormat Datuk Seri Anwar bin Ibrahim, Prime Minister of Malaysia, for officiating the 19th CONSAL. We'd like to invite Yang Amat Berhormat to kindly join us at his seat as we now invite all members of the audience, all our delegates, to kindly join us for a final group photograph to wrap up the session this morning. I'd like to invite all members of the media, photography teams, and our official photographers for the event to kindly take position on stage to record this moment. If all delegates could crowd to the middle, please. Could crowd to the middle. All right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, could we put up the L for library? That's right, L for libraries, everybody. And face forward for the cameras. Let's record a final photograph in 3, 2, 1. Thank you very much, everybody. Congratulations on the official launch of CONSAL 19th. Thank you and welcome to Malaysia. And we look forward to a spirited discussion on knowledge sharing across the region. Once again, we thank Yang Amat Berhormat Datuk Seri Anwar bin Ibrahim, the Prime Minister of Malaysia, for joining us in officiating the event this morning and imparting his knowledge and wisdom with us through the official officiating speech. I would like to invite Yang Berhormat, the Minister of National Unity, to accompany Yang Amat Berhormat Datuk Seri Anwar bin Ibrahim on his tour of CONSAL. Delegates will now take a 15-minute break. I know that is a tall task given how many people are inside this hall. 15 minutes is our target for the break. Please do kindly reconvene inside this hall for the next part of our event as we look forward to the first keynote session of the morning. That's right, we are expecting 2 keynotes, and the first being from Mr. Pot Naritakum, founder and chairman of iGroup, who will be taking the stage in just a short moment. So please do kindly reconvene inside this hall in 15 minutes' time. Thank you.